We want you to know that we are happy to communicate around this planet. Let us explain. Lots of you are excited about ascension. We feel your enthusiasm and we have an assignment to talk about this. Words are difficult to express how that process takes place within the higher dimension. When you have received instructions from the higher dimension, many of you say, I woke up today feeling excited about the potentials. I know what I must do. That is the sensation. And once you begin to accumulate information for fulfilling that idea, you raise your frequency. And many of you are, yes, you say, am I manifesting fast? Of course you are. But what you are manifesting is important, see? Without an intention, you have a creation that is building upon itself. It simply expands without direction, yes? You know, if you are baking a cake and the temperature is too high, it expands and it expands, and you say, wow, that was not the size of the creation I wanted. I wanted a very focused shape. And many of you are focusing on the shape of your creation. Orion Council, how is it that geometry has anything to do with my manifestation of life? Whatever. Yes, of course, without geometries, you would have an expansion for eternity. And you say, is that not Creator? Creator is expanding eternally. However, we are telling you there are defined planes where you have rules and you are having to focus within those dimensions. And many of you are traveling to these places that have very specific instructions, and we want to assist those of you who are traveling to these places. Because third dimension is planetary creation, you need to understand what happens when you expand your awareness. Those of you who have grasped the concept of dimensions will not be so confused. First, grasp the concept of what is a dimension. And you see it as this times this within this time space. And within that time space, you have creations which expand upon themselves, yes? Without that template, you would simply be etheric consciousness. Where you are coming from is very defined. And when you are coming into this dimension, you are also somewhat defined. You have limitations, right? Orion Council, tell us about our limitations so that we can expand beyond them. We want you to know about this as well. Where you are located has a definite point of focus. Yes, where you are located has rules. And you'd say, oh, yes, I understand that as rules of society and laws. That is correct, yes. When you are traveling to different places, you have different laws. You say, in that location, don't drink that water there. In that location, you must be respectful. When you have a planetary expansion, you will sense the personalities working with your individual consciousness. And was you aware of what we explained about how you access the other dimension? You have a sensitivity at all times to this higher dimension. When you are working from that dimension coming into this dense reality, you have a set of rules. And when you are expanding beyond those rules, we are saying it is dependent on the location. In certain places you have rules as if you were to follow instructions from someone else. They say, if you were to consume this in this location, it is not a good idea. If you were to be in this planetary location, you must agree to those rules of behavior. Now you say, oh, Orion Council, those are rules of our general population. We want you to know that there are higher dimensions that are controlling this dimension, and they are setting the rules for this here. And you say, well, Orion Council, if we are coming from a higher dimension, why don't we recall those systems. Why are we forgetting those systems? For some reason, human beings have lost contact with their assistants in these dimensions. But many of you who are aware of this are asking questions, and we want you to know that when you are asking these questions, you are getting answers to your questions. When you are having a loving energy, you are having assistance from multiple layers of reality. You are confused, why is there so much trouble on this planet, Orion Council? Why have we forgotten? If you look at the past, you will see there were time periods when you had ascensions despite the negative influence. You had ascensions of groups of people. What is that, Orion Council? Self-realization for civilizations? Yes. We say this is a place for learning, and you want to know why you are here. So many teachers have come back. So many students are ready. And you want to know who you are. We want you to know that you are important and you have a purpose here. There is a reason why you have come to this planet. What is going on the planet? You want to know. Let us explain what is happening. If you are to look around, you see there are many systems that are changing on your planet. There are many groups who are saying, we are ready for new decision making, yeah? What decisions, Orion Council? What is going to change? If you are to look around the planet Earth, you will see that there are scientific beings who have discovered that the tiniest of particles are wobbling. Those wobbling parts are connective. What does that mean? We have talked to you about the geometries that are forming your consciousness rules for experiencing reality. If the smallest particle is changing in geometry, which some of you would say is constant, we say there is definite shapes, and the definite shape has a different frequency pattern. Now, when you are working with light patterns within the geometry, and it is holding form, you have a different oscillation, and when the oscillation is challenged, the experience is different for the consciousness within that particle. The period of time it takes for one particle to enter that new phase is very fast, but we see the change, yes? We are observing the change in frequency patterns for these particles. We are most excited because we want you to understand what it means for consciousness. Once consciousness has experienced a different geometry, it experiences God in a new way. And you say, well, walls are coming down around Council, we understand. But what you should understand is that your bodily system is communicating with itself in a new way. And that is fifth dimensional pattern. That is most exciting. For the scientific beings on your planet can comprehend what we mean. Look around. How are you communicating with one another? You say, oh, very telepathic, Orion Council. You do not sense the change in the geometries, yes? You do not sense the change in the frequency, but we do. And you do it very quickly. So when a mass group has changed in its frequency, you are having accelerated awareness. When you have accelerated awareness, you know, in that location I must operate according to those specific rules now. And you are enjoying the expansion and the new rules that are in place etherically around your planet. What are fifth dimensional rules, Orion Council? We are so excited. When you are working with fifth dimensional rules, you are having a sensitivity, right? Many of you say, I am having feelings about my life. We want to explain this to those who have not experienced channeling, because many of you are beginning to listen and you are beginning to experience expanded awareness. Words are difficult to explain how an individual experiences God when going through an ascension process. But we want to do our best to explain this process to you because we are enjoying this. Those beings who are worthy, as you say, what happens to them when they have self-realization? They manifest what they are wanting according to fifth dimensional frequency patterns. You say, Orion Council, when things change quickly, should I slow down? Yes. When you are slowing down, you are observing more, right? You are not so busy all the time, you are observing the frequencies. When you are sitting down, observing the frequencies, you see the result of your action faster in your mind. You say, once I slow down, I have awareness. Once I observe the patterns, I am very focused in my creation. I know what to do. That is what we want you to understand at this time. Do you have a question for us?
Yeah, one question is Starseed asked, if you have a love for a soulmate, will you ever be able to break away from that?
Once more, you have asked us, will a loving connection happen in my life? So many of you are curious when your particles meet it's themselves. What does that mean, Orion Council? Scientific humor from your group? If you look at it from a scientific perspective, you have wonderful energy and you have wonderful energy and you have a being who is astonished by this wonderful energy. And you want to know, which one are you? The observer or the one emanating light? We want you to see yourself. We want you to see yourself because when you have the self-realization, the being is attracted to that energy and it wants and it seeks self-realization. So what is a soulmate really? Soulmates are beings observing themselves with one another in a way that is beneficial and loving, in our opinion. How does creation happen on your planet? You have communication, you have a sense of sincerity about what you want to do, and then you come together and you say, look at this, we are doing something here. Many of you are saying, we are not having a co-creation with those we are loving most. They are not creating with us, Orion Council. Do you know that many of you are creative at night time? You travel around your planet and you see places and you talk to each other and you have ideas about things. And when you are consciously aware that you are having a physical experience, you are not remembering everything that you've done. It is so intense. Many of you want to recall what is happening at nighttime. Many of you would feel safer about your soulmates if you knew how often you saw one another at night. Because you say, Orion Council, I'm alone now, where are they? We say they are there, just like you are there. And you don't remember the connection that you already have with them. And so you say, well, because we are not aware of one another in this dimension, we are apart. If you understood the true reality, you would not feel so lonely and you would not feel so sad about how far away you are from one another. We told you that we are around the planet, but many of you do not see Orion Council, but we tell you Orion Council here. And when you think of us, we send you energy, yes? When you ask Orion Council, talk to me now, we communicate. And some of you know that you are doing this with one another, despite the difference and the separation you perceive. You must understand that your spiritual body is great. It can travel to many places within seconds. And many of you are doing this, but you are having a physical self, and the physical self is here on this earth here. And that is the problem that you have discussed with Orion Council. Where is my soulmate here on this earth, yes? That is part of the expansion, friends. You are wanting this experience of being in this dimension and having multidimensional awareness. Some of you say that is a contradiction. Some of you say you're having feelings about this decision that you made. Some of you are saying, I don't see the future, Orion Council, it bothers me. If you saw the future that was working for you, would you have the same opinion now? Thank you.
I have another question.
All right, we will answer your question.
Does manifestation occur faster when you're in a higher state of vibratory frequency?
Well, yes, it does. Next question.
How can we control to not attract what we don't want? What's the
One moment.
focus?
Yes, we understand your question. Very soon you will notice you are letting go of what is not working. What is that, Orion Council? How do I let go of what is not working? Is it necessary? A long time ago on your planet, many of you came together for ascension practices, and the practice was for transmutation, as you call it. You would say you changed some substances into more precious metals and that kind of thing. It is similar with one another. You say we have positivity and negativity. We have expansion and we have contraction. We have highs and lows. We have what is called dualistic experience. Now, for someone, you say that is a negative experience. For other ones, it is an important learning experience for them. And you say, well, I definitely do not want to have that reality, Orion Council. By no means should that be part of my life. Why am I observing this? And we say, remember what happens when you become an observer of the experience. What happens? You are having conscious thoughts about that reality, and you are saying, I want to change that external reality. So many of you have energized what it is you don't want by focusing on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, but this is being realistic, Orion Council. Once you have become the observer, you must change your focus and remember how many years ago you transmuted that reality with one another. This is the practice. This is the practice of comprehending that you are a very specific geometry, and you say, that geometry is not who I am. Look around and try to remember which geometries you have created when you are asleep at nighttime. What are the geometries you are creating? With one another, you say, oh, Orion Council, my creation is expanded in this new dimension. And so you are continuing to observe that unwanted reality while transmuting with this group of people in a very fast way. And we say, don't forget who you are. Do not forget who you are. The process of alchemy takes time. You do not simply think about the change and it happens in your dimension. It takes time. So, look at where you are focusing. Remember how to let go of what is not working for you.
We have one more question.
We will answer your question.
How does the planetary constellation now help us process an ascension, and why is this seemingly an ongoing, never-ending process?
One moment, yes. Why is it eternal, yes?
Yes.
All right. When you are wanting to experience completion, some of you write books and you say, there was my experience, I wrote it in that book, I have let go of the experience. Many of you do this. Many of you say, I created this art piece to express my disgust at these soulmates. Many of you are creative in science and you say, oh, when I consume that small particle here, It changes my entire physicality. What does this have to do with eternity, Orion Council? Tasting things? Creating something that is outside of the logical brain? Working with groups, yes? Is this what we do all day long in the other dimensions? We feel that we are also learning with you. We are in a co-creation. We are experiencing reality in a new way every moment. And some of you are not seeing this new reality. If you are seeing what we are seeing from our perspective, you are continuing to recycle yourselves over and 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 over. You are deciding to experience time because you want to experience completion. Without the experience of time, you are in an infinite pattern unfolding upon itself. It is as if you are watching your favorite movie, and at some point you said, well, I've watched my favorite movie 100 times. Why do I love it so much? Why is it? Why am I saying that I love this song? I hear it so many times. Why do I love it and do it again and again and again and again? Why does it feel so good to repeat the same things over again, Orion Council? Many of you feel that you have seen everything. Many of you feel that you are wanting lessons and you are wanting to go higher and better and have more experience and development. And many of you feel that you have been let go and you have been put here to be alone and to suffer and not change anything. And you are confused. And some of you say, look at that, I created that experience. I created all of this here. And we want you to see that. We want you to see how you participated in that reality. And you want to know why. When you are having a physical experience, you are challenging past creations simply by existing. What you have created within this dimension is challenging the past. Your existence is challenging the past. What we mean by this is your state of confusion is because you have not compared yourself to anything that has happened before. You are a new creation of everything. Everything that existed helped to create you. You are participating with your environment. You are not separate. And when you are seeing that from our perspective, it is beautiful. It is perfect. It is geometrically interesting. So, as we are you communicating to yourselves, what can we tell you that you have not heard of before? What can we show you that is new and interesting and developed? We can only show you that we are with you in this ascension, and we are also learning from these communications. We are interpreting your frequencies, and we are smiling because you have seen something else. Today, you've noticed something change. Some of you say, oh, my sister is actually a little bit better today. My sister's feeling better today. That changed, actually. And for you, that was important. For you, that was so special that you had energy. And we say, look at those creations that give you energy, that give you excitement, that challenge the past. Go in that direction where you want to explore yourself. That is part of the new dimension. It is different, it is new, it has not been done in this way. You must remember that. Because if you think that things are forever the same, you are quite wrong. We feel that we have given you examples of this new reality, how you can experience this sharing of consciousness. And as we continue to expand in our knowledge, we share with you what we are learning about your planet. We feel that some of you are needing to take time for yourselves and trust that there is a guidance for you, and to trust that you have assistance. And you can create what you need for you. Work with each other and trust one another. You will sense that they are also changing, and you must allow for the change. As you observe it, have compassion for the changing energies. We told you that your geometries are expanded and they have a very specific form. Paint a picture of the geometry. Tell people what is your geometry. Try to see it in your mind and try to let go when you cannot comprehend what is happening. Simply observe it and you say, well, once I have completed this learning process, I will do something else. And that is the nature of who you are. Expansive, observing, co-creative, and most powerful. Thank you.